Today we're going to be taking a look through the Ninja Kiwi archive in order to find some of the weirdest and most obscure Bloons games ever made. The first one is literally just called Hot Air Balloon, and man, this old Ninja Kiwi intro is so nostalgic for me, but the game certainly isn't. Now as far as the actual gameplay goes, well, this is basically all there is to it. I mean, to be fair, eventually the speed increases and the trees become harder to navigate through. Like, this really tight path kind of came out of nowhere. But of course the main replay value with a game like this comes from trying to improve your own high score and comparing it with your friends along with other people around the world, which is why several years later, Flappy Bird became such a global phenomenon. But for being a Bloons game, this just feels kinda strange. I do like the fact that your score progresses by popping balloons along your path instead of being based on the total distance you make it, because this does add an extra layer of challenge once you're able to make it to the higher speeds. I also quickly found that the monkey hanging from the Moab, and don't even ask me how they ended up working together, can actually clip through the trees because your hurt box must only be on the Moab itself. So it actually makes a lot of sense to stay a bit low once the paths start getting narrower, even if that means missing a few of the balloons. There is definitely some RNG as well, like for some reason you'll have certain runs where the paths start off being way more difficult than normal, and these birds also fly at a random height, so if that one had been a bit higher, I basically would have no way to avoid it. Sometimes they're also just hard to see until the last second, but that's probably more of a skill issue on my end. Of course there are also some glitches, like I don't think the balloons are supposed to be in a spot where they're impossible to collect, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't having fun, honestly. I found the most replay value by trying to see how far I could go without missing a single balloon, and even once I did, I would try to miss as few as possible until the speed became too fast for that to make sense, and then from that point, I would try to survive for as long as possible and reach a new high score. I actually played for long enough to learn that there was another weird glitch where the game eventually breaks down and you appear to no longer have clipping, but once you fly into an obstacle, you lose control of your monkey and it just floats off screen, and then the game goes on forever. Maybe that's the sun gods telling me it's time to move on to our second game, which definitely isn't going to be as much fun. That's because it's my least favorite game of all, BTD 6. Of course I'm joking, it's actually going to be Bloons Pop 3. And the 3 doesn't stand for the number of games in this particular series either. No, it's actually there to tell you that this is a match 3 game. And if you don't know what that means, just think of 2 words, Candy Crush. Although to be fair, Bejeweled is the first ever match 3 game, but I'm sure most people haven't even heard of that one by now. The funny thing is, Bloons Pop 3 is also 4 years older than Candy Crush, so this is the second time that Ninja Kiwi made a random one-off game that ended up being similar to a really popular mobile game that was released in the early 2010s. I guess these guys were really just a bit ahead of their time in 2008. Just like how Candy Crush has different names for combos, like Divine and Decadent, food-based stuff, well, this game has its own names for combos as well, and they go as follows. The first level is a cool combo, which I think is for making 2 different things happen, and it gives you a 2x multiplier. And then the next level after that is a great combo, which gives you a 4 times multiplier. Then you have the awesome combo, which gives you an 8 times multiplier. And finally, you have the elusive unbelievable combo, which took me 8 minutes just to get once, although somehow I did get it a second time directly on the move after. I'm guessing that clearing out the entire board allowed a bunch of really good balloons to spawn in. Besides the regular balloons that you have to match in order to get them to pop, you also have 3 different balloons that can pop extra balloons around them, and one that gives you significantly more points than normal. You have a tack balloon, a spiked ball balloon, a lightsaber balloon that somehow avoided copyright, and the popcorn balloon, which is the one that gives extra points. When I was reviewing the footage in order to narrate over it, I realized I was completely wrong about the combo size in relation to its name. Like for example, a cool combo doesn't mean you get a 2x and awesome doesn't mean an 8x. So I'm not really sure exactly how it actually works. I know there's definitely a multiplier, and that's how I have over 160,000 points already, but I also have no idea how I've been playing for like 15 minutes now and still haven't lost yet. And I'm not just gonna quit until I actually run out of moves. But just a minute after typing that sentence into the script, it finally happened, and I don't think my score was too shabby for a first try, honestly. But let me know what you could get in the comments below. The next game I'll be playing is Bloons Super Monkey, and I know this second game still gets talked about today, but the first one has definitely fallen more into obscurity. If you've never played before, the way this game works is that you have to achieve a certain number of pops in order to make it to the next wave of balloons. Achieving that goal will give you the bronze ranking for whatever stage and wave you're on, and then you can also achieve additional goals which give you silver and gold. Of course, the game is going to start you off with a very easy pop goal, and I know this because I'm playing terribly and still managed to achieve silver on this wave. And this just gives me a 20% total bonus to my score at the end. Now you also have something called blops that you earn from popping balloons, and this is what you actually spend to level up. I think I'll go for the plasma tentacles first, because I'm pretty sure they auto-target balloons, which would be good for someone who's bad at the game, like myself. Yeah, this is definitely helping a little bit. And at the end of wave 2, I have quite a few more blops I can spend on defense. So I'm going to get all 3 upgrades available: faster firing darts, the boomerang, and a second plasma tentacle. Now I'm actually doing really well. Maybe I'll finally get the chance to earn gold. Or maybe that's not going to happen because I'm definitely starting to miss more balloons now, although I feel like I'm still hitting most of them here if I'm actually looking back at the footage. Still though, it wasn't enough to earn gold, so I guess that round wanted you to pop nearly every balloon on screen. But now I can just barely afford the twin darts upgrade, so I'm going to go with that one this time. Oh, and it looks like we actually passed stage 1, and of course that means the pop goals are going to be increasing by a good bit. At least that also means there's going to be the chance to earn more blops, but I just realized how many of them actually fall off the screen if you aren't close enough to immediately pick them up. And it's kind of hard to be when you're constantly going back and forth to chase down the balloons. Alas, I nearly have enough to afford the quad dart upgrade now, so I'm not sure if I should save up for it or just get a few other upgrades for the next wave and hope I can collect enough blops there. I'll take the risk and spend it on the upgrades now. Well, this round definitely isn't going my way, and I only managed to collect the measly 2400 blops by the end of it. So I'll just get the quad lightning tentacles upgrade instead. But on the third wave, I truly am learning just how many are being missed, because this wave allows you to basically sit right on top of the balloons the entire time, which makes it very easy to collect most of the blobs, and look at how many more I'm getting while popping the same amount of balloons compared to last round. And at the end of this wave, I'm going to have more than enough for the quad darts, which I imagine to be quite powerful. Well actually I'm a little disappointed, because they actually fire out of the sides instead of straight on, but maybe that'll be good for more map coverage. On the third stage, the balloons are definitely starting to ramp up with their intensity. I know the first wave looks super easy right now, but as you start making it further through it, the speed reaches a point where it feels absolutely absurd, and then it ends you off with a nice smiley face just to taunt you afterwards. I'm gonna go for this super plasma, which reduces you back to 1 tentacle, so I hope that the power it gains is going to be worth it. Wave 2 is definitely better for collecting blops than the first one was, although I don't know what I'm supposed to do against the yellow arrows that are flying by at Mach 10. I was worried I wouldn't even pass this wave for a second, but I did manage to get bronze at least, and now I'm gonna get the increased firing speed for my darts, and I guess I'll go with the twin missiles as well. The third wave starts you off with more of these fast moving arrows, and honestly, everything is super fast here, to the point where I don't have enough time to pop any of the ceramic balloons. This is the first time I really got the feeling I was going to lose from the beginning of the round, but thankfully, the game gives you a lot of leeway with all the regular balloons you have to pop, so I was able to achieve bronze. There is even an easy section at the end, just in case you haven't already gotten there by that point. This is the most blops I've ever had to work with at the end of a wave, and I'm thinking of going for these smart missiles since they're only 2500 and can seek out targets. But then I couldn't afford laser vision, and I gotta have that laser vision. Stage 4 introduces the first Moabs, and I definitely think the laser vision was the right upgrade to get here, cause I'm actually able to destroy them in time before the next one comes out. They also give you an insane amount of blops and increase your pop count very quickly as well, and since I was able to destroy all of them, I'm going to end up achieving gold on this round. Okay, in retrospect, the round probably doesn't send out a new Moab until you've destroyed the previous one, and it just has a time limit, so that means you have to destroy enough of them in time in order to achieve at least bronze, but still, getting gold here does feel pretty good. Because I was struggling a pretty good bit before I had the laser vision during the third stage. But I have 11,000 blops now, so I'm going to get the smart missile upgrade, along with also getting the twin super plasma, which I'm assuming is going to be better than adding 2 side firing darts to my laser vision. But maybe the darts would fire as fast as the lasers do now, which would make them a lot more effective than before. But on wave 2, speaking of the laser vision, you can really see how effective it is once again, as it's just shredding through the balloons that are passing by. But this time, I'm not going to be able to achieve gold. And now I will get those extra darts and see how powerful they really are. Well, I could be wrong, but it definitely doesn't look like they're firing as fast as the lasers do. But I do have to say, this wave introduces something really cool. Balloons that actually trap you in. This ring of ceramic balloons floats around your Super Monkey until you're able to fully destroy it. Wow, I got so close to silver, but just a few balloons shy. I can't quite afford the triple lasers yet, so I'll get the quad missiles and triple plasma. I don't think Moab Maulers are worth it yet, since the lasers are so powerful against the Moabs already. The first wave of Stage 5 is super laggy, so I'm really sorry about that, and after reviewing the footage, I know it's been laggy up to this point, and I guess I just didn't notice it as much, but I think this stage is particularly bad because of the sheer amount of blobs being produced at once. It's cool how this is kind of like a space level though, with the balloons flying in the formation of spacecraft that you'd see in a game like Galactica. The ending is also insane, and somehow I've already achieved gold at this point, so I'm just sitting back and enjoying the show that the balloons are putting on for me. Now that it's over, I'm gonna get the quad super plasma upgrade since that's really the only good upgrade I can afford right now. Wave 2 has more of those ceramic rings that trap you in, and unfortunately, it also has more of the spacecraft shaped balloons that cause all the lag. Eventually, I managed to clear all those out though, but it was taking a while to reach the pop goal. I was relieved when I finally did, because at this point I've actually made it kind of far into the game I'm guessing, and I really wouldn't want to lose the run and have to start all over now. And in fact, I know I must be getting far because when I finished that wave, I was able to afford the triple laser vision, which leaves me with a total of only 3 upgrades left to buy. Apparently triple laser really means 6 total lasers, and that's a good thing too, because wave 3 was absolutely insane, with tons of lag and tons of balloons flying absolutely everywhere. There is also a BFB to deal with for the first time, and this provides you with an incredible amount of pops and blobs when you focus all your power on it. I was surprised when that wasn't the end of the round though, but I did manage to achieve gold, and it's a good thing too, because this is actually the last round in the entire game. It's clear to me now that Bloons Super Monkey really isn't meant to be a hard game, but rather, it's supposed to be just like an arcade game, where you compete to get the highest score possible at the end of it, while also competing against waves of enemies that increase in both difficulty and intensity. And if you want to see an entire video that's dedicated to another obscure Bloons game, well, click on the video that just popped up on screen.